difference between Taiwan and
Okay.
US about basketball?
Yes. Really, the only difference is the American players may be a little taller, maybe a little more athletic, maybe able to run and jump and things a little bit better than Taiwan. But the difference on this side is the attitude towards the game and the love of the game and the ability to do everything that the coach says. You know, having coached in the U.S. so many years, and it's not really a knock on the American players, but sometimes they're very difficult to motivate or to coach or to get them to do what you want. Where here, the Taiwan players are very accommodating. They really trust the coach. They really believe in the coach. And the culture teaches them to have great respect for the older people, which I would be in that category, and to do everything they can to please the coach or their elders or their seniors. So that's the best part and the difference that I see right now. If you just look purely at basketball talent and skill, the U.S. is better, more talented, and they have more to choose from. I mean, you know, it's a great population that started basketball, so there's been years and generations of them performing. But it's just the attitude towards the game and the attitude towards coaches that has almost equalized not only Taiwan, but European, Asian culture is just the attitude towards the game and appreciation that they have for the coaches.
Okay, so we can say in your experience, maybe Taiwanese players show more respect to the coach and are more maybe coachable compared with the US.
Yes, that's what I would say generally speaking. Okay. And it's not all
of course.
U.S. players. There are some that are very accommodating and do anything and run through the wall, as they say, for a coach. But I would say out of 10, maybe 8 would do that. And you would have 2 that would not. Here in Taiwan, I found that all 10 would do that.
Oh, really?
Or if you ask them to run through the wall or to jump through a fiery hoop, they would do that. You know, because that's their dedication and that's their culture teaches them and have taught them to give it your best and to try your hardest and to do everything to please the elder generation.
Okay. You mentioned about the student athlete and the professional league. There's two different categories. What would be your suggestion to these two student athlete and the professional basketball, especially in Taiwan?
Well, that's always a big jump, and going from high school to university and to the SBL or the pro league, it's a big jump. It's something I go to the games, and you mentioned I go to all games. High school, I've been to junior high games and many games. And when I go to the high school games, there's so much enthusiasm, so much crowd enthusiasm and following. And then when you get to university, it's a little less. And then when you get to the pro league, it's really less. And so I would like to see that stay consistent. I like to see the people follow their players, not only through high school and university and then to the SBL or the pro league. I would like that same enthusiasm that they show in high school to show all the way throughout their player's career. And that's what has to be improved here. I think the fan reaction, and when we play in the Jones Cup or we played in the Asian games and we played in the world qualifying tournament, there was great enthusiasm for those special events. But let's make that consistent where it's the enthusiasm and the crowd following and the people with the fan reaction. Let it go throughout a player's career, not just in high school or university or all the way through to the SBL until they retire.
Okay. What would be your your suggestion to a young Taiwanese player, maybe who dream to be an NBA player like you do? What would be your suggestion to the young Taiwanese players?
Well, just be dedicated to basketball. You know, so many distractions from when you're young to when you get older that kind of enters in. And I know other sports is emphasized here, such as baseball, and tennis is always good, badminton is always good, and a lot of your athletes will gravitate to those sports and maybe leave basketball. But to me, you have to be dedicated to maybe one, maybe two sports when you're young, but dedicate yourself to something. Try to be the best at one sport. And to be the best, that means you got to put the time and the effort, and you watch games and you have enthusiasm about watching games, and like me, go to games and watch it on TV, see what the great athletes, watch the NBA games, watch the university games as a young kid, and try to emulate certain players that you know and have a feel that they're great players. And I never like idol worship, but pick out some players that you really feel that you want to pattern your play behind. There's a number of players that are here at this commercial, I guess, that I would love to tell a young Taiwan player, follow these guys, because they have dedicated themselves to being the very best and to be the greatest players in the history of Taiwan. That's what they have to aim for. That's my message to the young kids, is to work as hard as you can, dedicate yourself, because basketball or any sport is not just a part-time thing. It has to be a full-time occupation. It has to be something that you dedicate your life to. And not only just to play the sport, but always drive to be your very best. I'm going to be the very best basketball player. I'm going to be the best guard. I'm going to be the best ball handler. I'm going to be the best shooter that this country has ever seen. When you have that in your mind and you motivate yourself, sometimes there's no one to motivate you. It's got to come from within, inside. And once you have that fire inside, that desire to really want to do it, then you will achieve it. Without a dream, without the desire, without the hard work, it is impossible to succeed, particularly at the highest level.
Okay. What would be the, time is very important. Time is very important, maybe only a player and also a coach. So what would be the time, the meaning of time to you as a coach? You know, TISO is about time.
Yeah.
So what would be the meaning of time to you?
Time is always crucial. It's crucial in life. From the beginning that you are born to the time that you pass, time is of essence. As you get older, you start to reach the end of your time. So time is always on people's mind. But I'm a very firm believer in always being on time, doing things on time. And there's a saying in basketball where you should always know the time and score when you're playing the game, because every time period represents a certain situation, not only in life, as I was saying, from birth to death, but also in everything that you do. Your philosophy of doing things on time, such as making a free throw on time, making a jump shot on time, playing defense on time, and making time your fan, your friend, instead of making it your enemy. There are a lot of players that will look at time and they think that, well, I have time to do this or I have time to do that. No, time is always short. Life is always short, but time in basketball is always short. You have limits. You have 10-minute quarters, and you have halves, and you have a final 10 minutes, or you have the final 5 minutes, or maybe even another additional 5 minutes for overtime. Everything in sports, particularly basketball, is based on time. So if you have no concept of time, if you have no concept of situations and time together, then there's no way you can be successful. I've watched many games here lately, and players at the end of games, they don't realize the time and the situation. And maybe they know that at a certain time, I cannot have a turnover. At a certain time, I cannot miss a shot. At a certain time, I cannot miss a defensive assignment. If you're not aware of the time and the situation, then there's no way you can be successful. Time is so crucial to coaches, to players, to people in general, to life. Without time, there can be no existence.
Okay, you mentioned Taiwan many times during the interview. So what really brought you to Taiwan? Why you are here?
Well, I did a clinic for a shoe company. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name, for Nike. And so, yeah, I did a certification for the coaching certification, whether it's a A-level coaches, in order to be able to coach internationally. And in that process, I met a lot of very nice people here, very important people, and I kind of fell in love with the hospitality that I was shown in. And I was working as a scout in the NBA at the time, and they approached me about maybe coming and being a coach. And I've been a coach all my life, up until that year that I was invited to come and coach. And so it kind of, just through that clinic, that coaching clinic, that I saw the dedication of the coaches in particular. And I met players, and I coached some players during that time, doing drills. And I just said, it's a wonderful country. And I know they're very much Americanized, with the government and the freedom and of speech and freedom of, it's an independent country. And so during that process, I just felt that maybe this is the right place to be. And I've been here now 3 years, and I've loved every minute of it.
You mentioned that the most difficult time in your coaching career might be you are released by the team, by the organization. So other than these two, did you ever want to quit the coaching, and how you pick up your passion and to be a coach again?
Yeah, well, when I went from player to coach, and it's just a dream. It's just, something that I always wanted to do, and this has fulfilled my dream. I couldn't think of anything. I know so often my family, of course, that lives in the U.S., they miss me tremendously, and I miss them tremendously. And they often say, well, if you can't find another coaching job, why don't you come back and do something else? I can't envision myself doing anything but coaching. And to see kids grow, and to, as I mentioned before, from young to grown men, that's my greatest achievement in life. And that's what I look forward to. If I was at another job, if I ever thought about leaving, I don't know what else I could do that I can have the influence to help young men grow to be men and to move forward in their life. I don't know any other profession. So it drives me to continue to coach. And, as I mentioned, I'm over 40 years into coaching. There is no way I could change professions or do something different.
Okay. Now we have some basic question and a quick question and quick answer, okay?
Okay.
Well, which team is your most favorite NBA team?
Well, I would say Golden State.
Golden State?
Yes, I like their style. I like the way they play together.
Okay, so is there any NBA, any timing you remember most, maybe in your coaching career?
Well, yeah, probably the thing I remember most is when the Dallas Mavericks, we played against the Houston Rockets in the quarterfinals of the NBA. And we were down 3-1, and somehow we fought through and won 4-3. That was probably just so exciting to be able to do that.
Who is your most favorite NBA player?
Well, I would like to say Kobe. but he's currently not playing. Probably Steph Curry, because I love three-point shooting. I think that's the way basketball has evolved into. If you can't make threes, you can't win. I tell my teams that all the time.
Okay, so what's the meaning NBA to you? What's the NBA meaning to you?
It means for when I was young, it was a way of getting out of my situation. And I see that still with a lot of young men, that gives them the opportunity to be rich, obviously, and famous, and to be noticed in life. And that not only noticed for basketball, but have a political agenda and to try to influence not only your team and your organization, but be a positive role model for the young, for the neighborhood, for kids all over the world. Be an example. That's why I don't like NBA players that do bad things and treat women bad, for example. I would like for them to be that role model that will affect generations to come.
Okay.
Okay.
And coach.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.